Hi, everybody. It's Sherry St. Marie, and I am the CCO of a company called Bonavita Development. Bonavita means good life. And today I'm going to talk to you in this number 3 of 6 series about the secrets about doing $100 million deals and above. Why I decided to do this is the fact that I love the fact I can be a street smart teacher, master's level teacher actually, who's able to come on and just kind of educate the public. Because I have this wonderful tool called StreamYard and a lot of other different things that we can all learn on the playground together. And so that's what gets me to do some of these things. I'm interested in a wide variety, as you can tell. So I have 2 channels of things that I do. Some of them are with my brokerage that goes through EXP Realty, and then others are just under my Street Smart or Sherry St. Marie brand when they are just topics not of real estate and business. So what I want to do today is kind of get into a few things about the secrets, right? About doing $100 million deals, finding them, things like that. I'm going to try to see if I can get my folder. Yep, there we go. And then we'll just kind of talk through some of these things. So what I want to start with is the fact that these opportunities and deals are everywhere. Again, what I'm going to always be is countering your feed, meaning that the world is doing, whatever it is doing, and it is saying to you messages that are positive or negative. I tend to just go in the opposite direction, not paying attention. So where I am at with my business opportunities, and I will talk about this as in business deals with real estate examples so that it can help more people, is there really are deals absolutely everywhere all the time. And I think that so often we tend to get around people that are maybe a little bit more negative or will tell you, gosh, if you don't get this deal, the whole thing's over. That's malarkey, because you just turn your head and you go, oh my gosh, I am at a place in my life where I have never seen so many deals that are just everywhere and exciting. And I'll get into a little bit more of that later, because I used to look down like this. And now I'm like all over looking at all of the things globally, locally, all those kind of things. And so I want to share those with you. What you're going to do when I'm telling you that there are opportunities and deals all over the place, pay attention, open your mind, explore, have fun. That's how you do this. So some people are used to traditionally being trained and that they might go, well, I look at the MLS every day. So the multiple list service, that's one tool, right? You might be out somewhere and happen to hear from somebody, oh my gosh, this opportunity is coming up. And so much more of it in looking for the opportunities everywhere is a sincere interest in really interacting with people and hearing what they're doing. That's really so much of it. And then you end up striking up a conversation. Again, what I tell you in every single part of this series is this is not salesy. I am not salesy. The different teams that I work with, we are not salesy. We're doing this authentically for real because we care about each other, because we're interested in lots of different things. And I'm just going to see who grabbed the chat right off the bat here. Jonathan, thank you so much. Jonathan is a huge supporter. I appreciate him very much. He has lots of interests, one of which is real estate. And then he and I both have a connection to Naples, Florida, which is awesome. So thank you for showing up, Jonathan. I appreciate it. I'm going to go back a little bit to this. Opportunities are everywhere. And so sometimes it's just a matter of asking, right? So sometimes we might put ourselves in a spot of like, oh, I don't have the title for such and such to be able to go ask or pursue that. Do you need to? Do you have to have that title? Because what I am finding is that in a lot of categories with the way that work has changed up, which is exciting. I used to be a high school marketing and career teacher. It's always exciting to me how the world of work is changing. And what I see is that, yes, there are certain parts that are formal capacity, right? And a hierarchy, but there's a whole lot that isn't. And a whole lot that it is go be the dream catcher for the company and go seek an opportunity and bring it back to us or whatever it happens to be. So for me, it is just really changing up your mindset that there are opportunities and deals everywhere. I was just talking to somebody yesterday. So here's some of the excitement. She had, everybody's saying, oh gosh, the commercial world of real estate is really starting to have troubles. How nice we have private money. This particular person said, yes, and by the way, I'm bringing in 2.1 million of notes that such and such wants to get off their books. That's an exciting opportunity, a very exciting opportunity for her. Very nice for the company that wants to get that off their books, right? And it doesn't have to be this gloom and doom situation. It is, well, I mean, I guess I'll take 2.1 billion on a package deal, right? I mean, that might be okay. Or as you know, I am looking for, top tier luxury hotels at the minute. If you've got one, call me. I am happy to speak about them, whatever. I need to be very careful for my client because I know exactly what he wants. And he is trusting me tremendously. But those are the kind of things that we just open up the conversations about, and they become amazing while other people are having a totally different experience in the same dynamic, right? And that you behave your way differently and to lots of deals. So I'm going to just check the chat because I see a little message coming in here. No problem. Here's the cool part. Jonathan's telling me he's got to listen to the rest of it later. No problem. Here's the thing I love as a master's level educator is the fact that you can either join me live, and I don't mind. You know why I do it live? I'm going to tell you. I like the adrenaline of it being live because then you're not pre-recorded. You're not editing. What did I say? Did I mess up? You're live and doing this thing for real. The benefit is that it's recorded. You can watch it at any time. I am not the slightest bit offended. I think it's one of the greatest things out there that you can watch it whenever you want to. If you want to watch this at 2 a.m, hello, it's fabulous. If you want to watch it on your lunch break, great. So that is not any issue with me. And I appreciate that, Jonathan, for you making that comment. Here's where I'm going to help you a little bit look for these big deals. Most people are used to doing this. You might have been taught that as a little kid, right? I know a lot of people that were taught, put your face on the ground and look for a coin, right? Put your face on the ground as a little kid when you walk through and go places. Did you find a nickel? Did you find a penny? Did you find I know a lot of people that played that game. I had fun playing that game sometimes. But the problem with that game is, did you see the $100 that was sitting on the bench right there? No, you didn't, because your head was like this. And right there was $100. It wasn't anybody's. There's nobody around. It's maybe okay for you to have that, right? So I say, get your head up and get your head wide and open yourself to the entire world. And what I mean by that, whether you decide your own self as a person or a company to pursue a larger market than local and go to global things, here's why it's important regardless. And even if you're an employee and your company doesn't let you do this, still get your head up, get your head out and look globally and think globally. Here's why. When we are just worried about our own cities, which we need to be, there's a piece of me certainly that I love, love, love my neighbors, and I love, love, love my city, and then my state, and then my 2 states, and then my, world. When we are just loving that one little piece, which we sometimes need to do, right, to take care of our neighbors and what's locally happening and how's the weather, that is micro. And that's great. But what do I tell you every time? The minute you get your head up, you go, oh my gosh, the same exact type of work I'm working on right here, I can do it in another part of our state very easily, right? Gosh, could that double or triple or quadruple your business? Sure, it can. We're doing this here. Could we do it in another state? Absolutely. Look what they're doing. Whether you need licensing, check those things. I'm not telling you just go do business anywhere. But you see, when I get my head up and not into my own specific, so shallow piece, in my looking, I have more field to cover, right? I have more wide open swing that I can look at. Do I want to go states across to the whole US or the whole world? What do I want to do here, right? And when we open it in countries, it's 2 things. This is amazing to me. So opening up a massive, wild opportunity of just countries working together, or countries that you've already figured it out and we haven't in the United States, or we have something in the United States and you would like us to help you bring it to your country. All of those things open up the field so much larger for collaborations, for larger deals, for bigger opportunities for everybody. And then again, it also allows us to all enjoy the intelligence, the progression, the technology, the better for humanity, right? Those are the things that make it so much easier. And had I not moved from Wisconsin down to Naples, Florida, had I not gotten involved in an international business, had I not gotten involved in as a certified international property specialist and all those things, I wouldn't have had my head up so much seeing all these different opportunities and capacities of things we can do. I'll tell you one other thing from a deal last night is I have a agent that I am close with up in Wisconsin, and she and I used to both be with EXP. She's moved on to another company. And then I have a teammate I've talked about a couple times in here, and I will talk about more later, and that is Kelly. Kelly's got an amazing specialty in a very long career of a huge business. And I wanted to make the introduction. So we four ladies were on a Zoom last night, and the particular person was thinking nonprofit and had raised millions for a nonprofit and done tremendously well. Kelly instantly says, well, that's fantastic and that's great. And I'm happy to help you, continue that and whatever. How about also, would you like to see a profit and nonprofit? And then here's some resources and things. Kelly's a consultant as well as a commercial real estate broker and also a private funder business. All of a sudden, for all four of us, our heads were just way up bigger about, oh my gosh, I didn't know that we could do this or could do that. We'll continue working together on helping this client with what she might like to grow our business and do. That wouldn't have happened had we not just jumped on a Zoom with four people that happen to know each a piece of it or whatever. And then look where we took off to that. That's the stuff that I think is absolutely amazing about technology and our opportunities in the world today. So I always think that's something to just keep in mind. So here's a tip. This I love because this falls into some of my categories. I used to think you have to be a genius in this, whichever part it is, to be able to do well, right? And granted, I don't mean in the slightest regard that you don't need to be intelligent, good at what you do. I'm licensed. I take more classes, as you know, than pretty much anybody I know at all at 20 some years of experience. But here's the greatest tip, excitement, thrill I have learned. You don't have to be a genius if you've got a particular piece that's needed in the collaboration. So again, remember, I'm always going to talk to you on this series as being a chief collaboration officer. This is the perspective I'm going to share with you. It's where my heart looks at deals, looks at people, looks at opportunities. But this is one of the things I really want to spend a minute, and then I'll go back to the chat. I see you. That you don't have to be a genius. You just have to have a piece or a component. So one of the things that's working very well for myself and my partner, Dieter Hubel, is that we have an amazing network that is just, between the two of us and combined together and separate, we have so many amazing people we have met in the world that are doing things either other places in the world or in the US. I have been able to develop these skills sort of by accident, but definitely by pleasure of the collaboration part, right? So even though, and this will shock you, but it shocks me still, I don't have the exact technical knowledge of commercial for everything. I have a lot of new construction, right? And some things other ladies don't have. I don't necessarily have to, because I can have multiple deals at this minute, which I do, for hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. And yet I don't know all of the dynamics, and I don't have to, because this investor trusted me. The person that's working with him trusted me. I then went and got the people that are a specialty in that exact specific piece that I needed. And I said to them, I need assistance. Here's what I need to do, right? So here I am collaborating this. And there are certainly people who look at me doing this and going, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be able to do that. Excuse me, I have the main contact. And they do not choose to work with you. I'm sorry about that, but they don't. So there are times when you don't have to be the genius. You just have to be the piece. So another example of you don't have to be the genius. Well, I know real estate. I've been in real estate for a long time. You can be a CFO. And so you've got the brain cell of those things, which I do not. And I do not want to do all the collaboration of the legal components of all of the documents. And I do, offers and things that I need to, but not the entire capacity of international and all of these things. There's somebody for that. So even that genius in the level of international lawyer, he doesn't have to know anything about marketing. I can do that, right? Or my connection in different parts of the team can do other pieces. So that part I think is important to say because, hi Cindy, how are you? Wonderful. I love to see new people here, and I love to see everybody, but I also love to see women, and I love to see women coming on this larger world platform. So I will tell you, that's always just a little bit of my underlying mission, right? Because I happen to be female. But I will tell you, I have learned more playing with the guys and now adding a whole lot of women that are already in the game ahead of me, and also in the game on the side of me and behind me. And what I love is we have been able to really see how we can, in a powerful way, help each other with a lot of these different opportunities, things we didn't realize were something that we could actually do, didn't know people were doing this type of business. So I'll also say why Cindy's in the room and in our call here. This is what's super cool for me as well. And again, I hope you hear with my heart, none of this is ego-y for me. I'm just thrilled to be able to play in the magic. I'm thrilled to be able to create these opportunities for people. I'm thrilled that somebody else is helping me where I couldn't have even entered to play at this level or any level, right? But what is also super cool, Cindy, is the fact that I have learned getting on the global stage so much more. I am able to do, and I've known my whole life, I'm very fortunate to happen to have been by accident born in the United States of America as a female, right? That's great for us to feel. And at the same time, if we feel it too much, it's misogynistic, right? Because the guys don't feel super lucky to be born here. They just, guys are more used to this is my rights, this is my, whatever. But I will tell you, Cindy, what has been cool while we've been expanding and doing all of these great things, I think about and listen to all these women around the world, and they don't all have the same opportunities, right? So in their particular country, perhaps they're not allowed to do something or something in business or this or that. However, what they are allowed to do is have that connection with that investor, send them to me. I'm able to sit in these meetings. I'm able to speak in these meetings. I'm able to challenge in these meetings. I'm able to, and when I'm able to do that, again, it's not ego about me. It's about, I want to do that for her. I want to do that so she gets her paycheck. I want to do that so her causes can continue, right? And so we're advancing in this really cool, amazing opportunity that I hadn't really thought about even when we started this business about 2.5 years ago. And so that is a part that's also super cool. Or here's the other thing. I'm a nerd. I love to learn all kinds of things. I love all variety. So I just enjoyed listening to conversations, right? Or different topics that, gosh, I hadn't really thought about this, or, oh, no way would I want to do that. That part is huge value in the playground of life, I think. So, okay, just checking her comment one more time. This is the part that might seem so basic, but I just have to say it for everybody. You will learn as you go. I was a career teacher, right? Marketing, all this stuff. I thought, oh, you got to learn it and then you're good. I made a commitment at 17 to be a lifelong learner. I am learning more at the age of 55 in this capacity than any other time of my life. I love it. What I want to make this point about you will learn as you go is, okay, I'm the CCO of a company. You should think I should know a few things. I know a few things. However, we are getting so many different new opportunities brought to us in different capacities that are huge that I am learning. And I will get into more detail about that a little bit further. I am learning every day. I am not learning with drudgery. I am learning with joy. I will share a couple things about kind of how and what I do, because people have messaged me and said, "Oh my gosh, Sherry, how are you handling this?" And actually, I'll bet you I work less hours per day than most people by far. And it's just because I've learned how to put it into this type of a work dynamic with this type of a work setting and teams that is working beautifully for us. But here's the part that needs to be important too. So you just need to know you're going to have to learn. So you don't have to be the one going, oh my gosh, they're going to know I don't know everything I'm talking about, right? It's going to happen because every week I'm in a different capacity that half the time I'm like, I'm in the deep end of the ocean. And like last time I was on that side of the deep end of the ocean, right? That happens to me every week now. But what I'm going to do about that is you better be hungry, meaning, you need to pay some bills, you got some kids to take care, you got something, or you better be curious. So my little bit of lightheartedness about you better be hungry or you better be curious is just this kind of playful way to say, there needs to be something in you if you want to work at this big capacity that you want to learn, that you're hungry to get more information, that you want to see how did they do that? Oh, they do that in Europe. How can we do that here? Oh, we do that here. How can we do that in the Caribbean? Or you're curious. And a whole lot of mine, I used to be hungry, meaning that, I had to make it someplace. I had to find a way to graduate from college as only the second person in my family. I ended up moving states and all this stuff and keeping 2 houses and all this stuff. I was hungry because I had to get 3 kids through college. I'm not hungry anymore. However, I'm beautifully curious. I'm curious about so many things. I want to know, what's going on with you? How did you end up in this situation? What was difficult? What are you working on? Oh, that's amazingly cool. Those are the things of just being curious can be a beautiful place. And do you see the difference between being hungry? You work differently, right? Being hungry, it's like this and it's, pressure and hustle and whatever. Curious, is just a beautiful, can be childlike play. People laugh at me a lot because I can be very professional and you see sometimes I'm goofing around. When I am curious, half the time it is just with this childlike mind, right? Of, oh my gosh, how did you guys figure this out? Or how did you do this piece? I didn't know this. Or like I told you last week, I went straight to a very lucrative development and just said, listen, this is what I'm interested in helping my person do. How can we figure out this piece? I need you now to give my investor a proposal and give them a big one. Give them a main one and then a really, really big one. Why do I do that? Because I'm curious. I'm looking for opportunities. I'm trying to put collaborations together. And when you're curious and they're curious too, then you move on to vetting, each side of the deals or multiple sides of the deal, depending how many different teams or people are coming on. And all of that becomes at a beautiful place when it's done out of curiosity rather than harsh judgment, criticism, grind. We aren't doing any of that. It is, gosh, that's incredibly interesting. I didn't know this piece or this part. Look what I discovered here. Would you guys like to do this with us? Absolutely, right? So I go to bed curious. I wake up curious. This is just where I have found myself, which of course you can see is a beautiful way to work and a beautiful way to spend your life. And so I just bring up those pieces because some people don't look at life like that. I need to spend a little bit of time on this for the $100 million deals and above, into the billions, actually. And so my note here to you is kudos and donuts and that social media post might not be allowed. You're just going to need to get used to that. Part of my joke is that on social media, it is my real life, but a lot of it is me goofing around because here's why. I can't show you all of the real life, meaning that I have more people in my life. I cannot say who I'm with, what I'm doing. I can't take photographs. I can't mention their name. If you get into deals that are 100 million and up, it will be very likely, even though your business might like to toot the horn and say who it is and give details and whatever, so many of these deals deal with NDA, non-disclosure agreement. If you have signed that, I am very serious about it. A lot of people go, oh, it's not such a big deal. Well, listen, I used to be a teacher. I'm a licensed real estate broker, associate going through EXP. I'm not going to lose my license for anything. I am not interested in doing that. So I take these NDAs seriously. I want to make sure that they realize I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do business with you or do this venture to see, do we want to do business? Let's say you're able to be successful. So you did a dream job of like pulling this entire huge project or development or whatever together. Your company, of course, would love to have kudos and credit for that. you may not ever be able to say. You need to understand that. So you can't be in this ball game of the business of the big bucks if you're in there for ego, because a lot of times you're going to need to be humble and silent while they share their victory of whatever is the companies that get to say out in public. Some people may say, oh, I think it's okay. We can go ahead and ask them. You need to understand when you're working with this caliber of people, it is sometimes even a faux pas or rude to say, well, would you care if we put this out there? Would you, whatever? Because if they've worked to that level and are doing business in this arena, quite often they have a very specific, humble feel perhaps about it, because some people are completely private about a lot of the things they're doing, even if it could help their business. Others are from a liability perspective. They do not want it said because they don't want the tie of our two companies are together, our 7 companies are together, or whatever it is we are doing. The people that create the faux pas at whatever level of deals are the ones that are constantly shouting out, and I'm amazing, or I closed this, or I did, if that's your shtick, this isn't for you. These big, huge deals are not for you. Why you're in here is the heart and the joy. I will always ask. So you can see I'm on social media a whole lot in all different capacities, some serious, some fun, hopefully inspiring people. But if I'm ever doing anything around people that are of my large deals, or really even anybody just deal with their home, I will respectfully ask them, particularly if it's anything to do with me thinking I would have a photo in their yard, in their home, anywhere near their family. I always ask and get permission. And I'm careful to ask. But then when you go into the big whales, these 100 million and above, it is quite often seen as mannerless. When you just want to say, can we go ahead and put this out? Or can I take a picture in your backyard, which is $10 million? Yeah, you just really shouldn't probably ask. And this point is more so to, you may legally not even be allowed, even if somebody else in your company management or somebody's pushing you and telling you, oh yeah, we get to, oh yeah, we can. Here's the important part. They could blow that entire deal and relationship with that person you have, the private person. So you have a responsibility when you're working in this capacity to know those things and decide. And again, regardless of anybody wants to fight you or whatever, protect your client, right? Protect the buyer, protect the deal, in the larger capacity, because what happens when you can do that, and they may not even realize you are gatekeeping so much for them, or whatever, you will get the next deal because they realize you get it, that you're not running all over the place, sharing their business. You would never share something financial about a company you're working with, any of those kind of capacities. Those are the people that get these deals. And often I like to give you a funny headline like that for Street Smart Education, because it just helps you remember it a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to talk about dancing. Last time we talked about sports. And this time, because I'm a Street Smart teacher, I want to teach you about dancing with people. And I don't mean literally dancing, but this is a good connotation or analogy. Each client that you're going to work with, or customer, because they're not all, and you're not representing all of them, some of them are going to be customers, you need to learn how to dance with them. And clearly we can understand I'm going to behave very differently when I'm working with somebody wanting to get into the brand of the Ritz-Carlton than I am if it's a private off brand, and the family has a particular way they like to do things. I have to learn, if I don't know already, how am I going to behave in this capacity? What do I need to do over here? I can't have a normal shtick. I can't have a script I work on. I don't do that at all. I've never done that. Actually, I can't stand it. And the reason is because I have to learn, how do I dance with this person? I have to have a sincere interest in getting to know them. How does their family do business? Is this okay? It might be a husband and wife, and one has a completely different style than the other. I have to be good at knowing, how do I adjust and dance in this situation? How do I back up and make sure everybody feels comfortable, right? And so that's the part that's important about not being a set style of business. So many people teach that in static. We've taught it for decades. I will tell you, I would not do that, particularly in this category, because again, everybody's got a different way that they would like to dance, or what they would expect with you. And here's another important part. You have to want to get better every time without anybody telling you, with nobody prodding you, with nobody critiquing you. You have to just have this joy and wonder and sincere want in yourself, which I definitely do, of I want to learn every time I have an interaction with somebody, whether that's like in the beginning of a deal that we're seeing, are we going to have a deal? Whether that's we're in it or we've done one. I don't want to waste the opportunity to not make myself better. So, what I do is a lot of different things, certainly always being aware and watching what's going on. Is there feedback somewhere? Did something not go well? Is there something that I should just correct or fix by myself? I want to go ahead and do that. I will each time look at what did I learn last time? So a one sheet. What went really well? What can I do better next time? That's all that needs to be on that sheet. But you know why I'm going to do that with these big deals in particular? You should with all deals, but in these for sure, because you do not want to repeat the same issue ever if you can handle it in this caliber of a field. So you want to be able to make your own corrections, come back looking more polished, more skilled, more customly knowing this person or company that you're working with. That's how we get better. That's how we become moving towards that master. Because all of this work, really, there are very few people who can do it masterfully. And so that's what we want to be able to do. In the beginning, we might be learning a bit and whatever, but we're not looking like we're falling apart, right? Obviously, we're doing okay because people are still coming back. And then as we move along between different type of deals or different situations, we want to be able to look like it is easier. We are getting it. People are flowing better together. Perhaps you need to move somebody on this part of the team to that other project or this thing so that we can do a better job. That's the stuff that's super important that you do not need an employee evaluation for, I hope, that you do not need anybody telling you, and that you do it with joy. So you don't have to beat yourself up about, oh gosh, what do I want to do better next time? It is just this beautiful, I want to get better. So I want to get richer and deeper and more experienced and multi-layered into what I'm doing. And that then becomes a beautiful thing where you don't feel stressed about it at all. It's actually a whole lot of fun. So, okay. So the category for deals above 100 million are absolutely every time, pretty much, unless it's a government project, they have to, a passion project. This is a secret to some of these $100 million deals and above. And I'm going to tell you some things most people won't talk about, right? You can get a corporation to come out here and talk to you like I'm talking to you. This is the beauty of the freedom that I have. And so I want to be able to use it. What I'm talking about here is that if you are working in this category of the 100 million and above, I can almost guarantee you one thing, and I will even give you a demonstration to myself. And that is, I highly doubt there is even 1% that need the job, need the paycheck. When people are working in these huge deals, they are at a financial capacity that they can and don't have to work. They are in a place where they have done well enough, whether that's, an individual company collaborating with another company or whatever, that they are healthy, or they wouldn't be doing this dollar volume, right? So you need to know that part of it. And then here's the thing. So if you go in there and try to talk to them, or you try to behave in a way as if they need, or you're trying to talk them into benefits of this and that, it won't work. It won't work unless you are talking to them like you get it. They only do passion projects because they don't have to do this work. One of the things in demonstration that I will say is, I've really been in this capacity the whole time that I've been doing this. I'm the only person that needs to work. I'm the only person that needs to work. Everybody else that I am doing work with and am around, they don't need to work because they're at that place and that stage of life where they can be done if they want to. They're in here because they love the drive and passion of it. They have a hard time going, oh, I don't want to miss this deal or opportunity, right? They go to the beat of a different drum. They are at that place where they are excited hearing about deals and opportunities other people are doing. They feel like, look, here's another thing that's important. Some of them are starting to feel tired. It's a good thing because, those of us who aren't tired would like to go, I'll run circles out there for you. Some of them are starting to feel a little bit tired where they don't want to do the every day and the 14 hours and that kind of stuff, but they're still interested in staying in the passion project game. And so the good part about that is those of us who, I don't work 14 hours. Some days I only work 3 hours, just so you know. Those of us that are really getting excited about this work and are maybe entering more at this stage, because I, in my other life, did, raise my kids and did those things. They're thrilled to have that opportunity of the mixed level of people, of experience, time, financial. But this thing about it being a passion project, if you don't understand that, you won't work well with them. So another piece that comes into the passion project are things like they care very much about usually legacy, reputation. How did this go for them? Not an ego at all, but I would not have gotten involved and I didn't need to get involved unless it goes well and ends good for us, right? And so those are things that just kind of help you when you are pitching deals, or if you're in these deals working with some different people. These are just a whole different mindset, and you can't work around them with the traditional, let me give you the features and benefits of this and that, because guess what? They don't need any of that, and it's quite annoying to them. So I want to share some of these things with you. There are plenty of people that are working with the penny pinchers, particularly when it comes to collaborations, when it comes to investors. That's a whole style, right? Where they are hard as heck. They want everything for nothing. They will pay you a nickel because they're going to have the bazillion $100, and then the ones that are the point keepers of, well, I did this, so now what are you going to do? Or, you didn't do your work last time. This wasn't fair. Like, I don't want to. Neither of those style of people, about either of those two things, are we working with. I do not find, you certainly can find the penny pinchers and the point keepers in the big, huge deals. You can see why, because parts of them, it's a huge project, right? You do need a project manager. They need to be doing this piece, but there's a different style to do that rather than the whip and chain and stick, you better be doing this. There can be somebody who that isn't exactly their point keeping style, and yet they're able to help people move along, talk to them like they're real human beings. They're part of the team. We're all collaborating. We're all going to win, right? That goes tremendously better in this capacity. But the other thing that is about the penny pincher and the point keeper is mentality and closed dark heart. So because I'm the CEO talking to you today, I got to explain this to you. Mentality of a penny pincher is cold, right? The penny pincher miser would be also somebody who is about themselves. What I see here, their head is down like this, not up of we could all have more if we'd look in a different direction, right? And so that tends to be a person that has not a collaborative heart, not a collaborative work style, not usually a collaborative vocabulary. And those things are important. The same thing of a point keeper. So the point keeper might not be about money, but it might be about, I worked harder than you, or I get that title and that kudos about, whatever, you don't get that type of a thing. Both those two are this closed dark heart, not getting the whole big passion project to start with, and not getting the spirit of collaboration and how we can all, with the right good people on the particular project, which changes every time and is a lot of fun, we can all do tremendously more. And so I wanted to be able to share just a couple of these key pieces and bits for you. I will also kind of end this piece today with this. Here's what you're going to do about the secrets of, 100 million and above. Again, I told you last time, you can't be looking below that then. And when you first go to do that, it feels awkward because it's like, I never used to say that in my life. How can this be the case? Now, I've told you before, it doesn't mean I don't work in other capacities. I certainly do. I still do home because I love home, right? I do also work with another teammate that are on lesser dollar amounts when people are needing funding. But when you are in this big deal category, you got to go like this up, right? And I'm just looking at the big shot of these things when I'm going out there to seek. What happens when you do that? Same exact concept of, geez, I've decided to get this kind of a car. Wow, all of a sudden I see all those kinds of cars out on the highway. Why does that happen? Because what you focus on, what you pay attention to comes into your view more, right? So the more you focus on looking at, gosh, I'm even just going to try to do any kind of a search of deals that are above 100 million. What are they? What are, obviously there are people buying businesses. Obviously there's real estate, but not as much real estate up that high. So it's a whole nother style of game of pushing it up that high, or saying to people like, I can't, because people will say, well, geez, I can go a little bit lower. Can I do this? At this capacity right now, I can't do that, because then I'm not staying on this big field that I promised these people that I would play with them in, right? And so those are a couple different things that might be a little bit helpful to you. Again, some of these are going to be shorter sessions. Some of them will be longer. We have 3 left. You can find me on LinkedIn under my own name, Sherry St. Marie. You can also find me on YouTube under Sherry St. Marie, brokered by EXP. You can also find me on the Facebook business page. I just use that so you can get a connection to me. My phone number's over at LinkedIn, and my phone number is also over at Facebook business. And so Facebook business, it's under Sherry St. Marie, brokered by EXP. St. Marie, EXP, right? I appreciate you guys showing up today. I hope I've given you some things to think about and a couple tips on these $100 million deals and above. And I will see you next time. Thank you.